I'm good to go. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for, as we say, coming into this room, the virtual room, as we say. My name is Claudia Post, and I'm delighted to be able to present to you today some strategies to navigate through this crisis that we're in, and especially because our marketplace is ever changing minute to minute, which obviously presents some challenges in itself. So, excuse me. General housekeeping, please remain muted during the session, and you may submit your questions. And I have to tell you, I love questions. So there's a chat feature and at the bottom of the screen, and I will work to address your questions. And honestly, I would prefer if you stop me. I would love, as I say, to answer your questions. It will make me feel more attached to you. As I was just saying to someone, I said, for me, I'm used to being in a live session where I can go out into the audience and I can get audience participation. And now, I mean, here I am sitting, in a blank room. Well, I have Sophia with me, so it's not a blank room. So please drop your questions. I would love to answer them. Just a little background on me. I have been in business for, more years than I care to admit. And I owned a transportation company here in Pennsylvania. Actually, I was the largest woman-owned business in Pennsylvania at a moment there. And we did warehousing, distribution, pick, pack, ship. And I started at my dining room table. I'm truly an entrepreneur. I started at my dining room table with 4 people, and then I wound up with 12 warehouses up and down the East Coast. I love problem solving, and so transportation was great for me at the time. How did I get into the cannabis space? I have a son who is a famous glass artist. And one day, about 12 years ago, he said to me, "Mom, you got to get into cannabis because it's just like this says, an emerging market. People don't know what they're doing. There's no banking, there's no this." And his name is Snick, S-N-I-C, B-A-R-N-E-S. I always give him a plug because I'm his mom. And if you go on his Instagram, you'll see the beautiful things that he makes for people in the space. So I went out and I did a lot of shows. And then, of course, that was basically THC motivated, if you will. The market was basically THC. And now we have CBD, which is really ubiquitous. And you all know what's happened to that market. The market has gone up and the market has gone down, and price-wise. And of course, that is a challenge in and of itself. But I believe, as we read the statistics about the growth of the hemp market and the different and wonderful varieties of application for hemp, it is only going to get bigger, 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 and bigger. And I guess you all know this little bit of nugget of information that at one time Pennsylvania was the largest provider of hemp. But of course, just like everything else, legislation, whatever, politicians. Anyway, I hope there are no politicians on my audience. We love politicians. Anyway, let me get on with my presentation here. And my business is Most Communications. And I started that way back when. Our original name was Smokin' Hot Solutions. And my tagline was, "We create the buzz." And at the time when I started, there were mostly Cheech and Chong type people in the business, which I love. I love I've seen it all. I've seen it from the beginning, to where we are today with Suits, which is a totally different thing. And so Smokin' Hot Solutions, We Create the Buzz, was the precursor to Most Communications Group, which is what our name now. And why are we Most? Which is an interesting little sidelight. It's Most is a combination of my name, which is Post, and my partner's name, John Monk. He was a very lively, wonderful young man, and his last name is Monk. And so when I asked him to come into the business, we changed our name to Most. He's Monk, I'm Post, and together we're the Most. There you go. So my first thought today is, hey, the world is closed. It's temporarily closed. And unfortunately, for some people, it's permanently closed. And that is a heartbreak for me personally as an entrepreneur, being out in the marketplace, owning businesses. People put their whole lives into their businesses, and to see the collapse is heartbreaking. But I'm here today to give you a lifesaver and to talk about marketing strategies for the business. Now, of course, I would say show of hands, but I don't get show of hands, do I? Maybe you'll chat with me. I say, does everybody in the room have a marketing strategy in writing? I don't see any comments. Okay, so I'm not one for a lot of written documents, you know, the business plan, the mission statement, the blah, blah, blah. I think, you know, if you want to do a good business, you set out that way, you read a lot, you understand your industry, you have tremendous enthusiasm for what you do, and people will gravitate to you and to your business. But I think that understanding how to play in different verticals in marketing is very important. So I would say that even if you have a bare bones kind of strategy, just maybe 10 bullet points, what you want to do. You know, do you want to do SEO? Of course, you have to have a website. Let's start with that. Do you want to do SEO? Do you want to work with influencers? You know, that is, there's so many, like I say, so many verticals in your marketing strategy. And the other thing that I'd like you to do is think about content. You know, what does your website say about you, right? What is your story? People like stories, especially today when we can't go make physical sales calls. Our online communication has to be robust, direct, and clear. Okay, so that's a strategy. And like I will just say, this is, I'm not into all those big documents, but write down a couple of bullet points about where you think you'd like to be in your marketing strategy. So I have listed here social media. So social media is valuable content and influencers. And again, show of hands, influencers. Let me speak a little bit about valuable content. For instance, if I own a car dealership, I am not necessarily going to want to read about or listen to content that is not relevant to what my business is. So you have to target all of your messaging to your audience. So you have to ask yourself, who do I want to attract? Where will I find them, etc. You have to do research, folks. It's very important. I am, first of all, I'm a voracious reader, and I can only say to entrepreneurs, you know, I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing I do is get on this little puppy, here it is, and I start reading relevant content to who I am, meaning not who I am, I certainly know who I am, you know, what our business is, who we want to attract, what the marketplace is saying. And the only thing I will also say to you, as the owner of a business, I always use this comparison. Imagine yourself on a ship. You, the owner, are in the crow's nest. That gives you a tremendous view of what's going on. It allows you to see the horizon, and at least allows you to see what's going on deck. Now, why are those two things need to harmonize? Because as the leader of the business, you need to be aware, of course, what's going on deck without micromanaging, because I hate micromanagers. And while you're looking at the horizon, you're aware of any tsunami that could be coming along. I'll give you one little story. I owned a delivery service. It was called Diamond Courier. And that was back in the day. I had couriers. I had guys and gals in tights riding bicycles. I had walkers and I had car drivers. And then came the internet. And I remember as sure as day, I invited everybody in my office. Oh, maybe it was about 25 people at that time. And some of my key drivers and bikers and whatever. And I served breakfast. And the topic was, what is the internet and should we be concerned about it? And in between bagels and cream cheese, I got to see how people think. Some people understood the enormity of the internet and some people just didn't. And I said, folks, we're either going to be on the dock and riding the wave, or we're going to be washed away by the tsunami, which is the internet. And I remember my sales manager saying, but what are you paying attention to that for? It's really nothing. Oh, right. Okay. So that was then, as I say, and this is now. That became, especially today, how do I explain this? I mean, to me, what I do on a daily basis is driven by what's going on the internet. Now, unfortunately, I can't spend my whole life reading, but I want to know what's going on tech, and I want to know what's going on out there, because I sure do not want to be washed away, right? Now, influencers, which I believe are really important. Today in the beginning, we had people who would say, hey, we're going to tout your pen, okay? Send me a pen and I'm going to get on my followers. I'm going to say, it was like QVC or HSN for whatever. And they really didn't want to take anything. They weren't getting paid. They just had the thrill of talking about my pen and the versatility and the color and whatever it was. And how did we compensate them? We sent them a dozen pens, whatever, and something else that we mentioned them on our website, etc. Today, it is a different story. Influencers are, well, some of them charge upwards of, I would say, thousands of dollars. Now, I personally can't afford that, to sign on with an influencer. Think of the Kardashians or somebody like that. I mean, I'm sure they get paid gazillions of dollars to whatever it is that they're doing. So what would I recommend to you? I would recommend just what we do here at Most. We look on Instagram and we search hashtags and we Google. And we also look for micro influencers. That, of course, means influencers who have about 100,000, somewhere in there, followers. Okay. And we also look at what our competitors are doing. Now, I will also say that our agency, having been, I would say, one of the first, and because we're full service, we have designers, we have content writers, we have people that do blogging and vlogging and everything. Now, you're going to have to forgive me. My cat was not aware that I was presenting today, so he's hanging around. Sorry. Anyway, so micro influencers, you can find them, as I say, on Instagram. Follow the hashtag. And if you look at that, you will find folks with whom you can connect about your product, your service, or what have you. I heartily encourage using influencers. And again, please don't get caught up with saying, oh my God, they've got 70 million followers and I can't do this over here. My philosophy has always been, even in selling, okay, you have marquee accounts, which are very important. So for me, when I had my business, courier business, I would say like the University of Pennsylvania, everything University of Pennsylvania Hospital, that was a marquee account, okay? IKEA was another marquee account. However, on the other side of that, I have many middle market accounts, and I had some, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of very small accounts. Why did I philosophically believe in that? Because if a marquee account falls out, you got a lot of problems, okay? Because you've already built your business and your life about somebody who's billing millions of dollars. And, so there you have it. Some marquee account falls out, you're not happy. However, if a middle market account falls out, you have others waiting over here to fill in, and then you can go out and sell whatever it is. And then, of course, the lower end accounts, somebody billing $10,000 a year, if you have 100 of those, that turns into a number. And that's because salespeople like me, I'm basically I'm a salesperson by heart, if you will, love solving problems. So I could relate to that. I could get other middle market accounts and smaller accounts, but going after one of those huge accounts is very time consuming. And of course, at the end of the day, you've got bids and this and whatever. Anyway, so that's that. Now we have to look at, where am I? Over here. Okay, social media. Okay, I'm down here. Okay, providing value. Okay. I always say when I close my email after I've sent over information, in my last paragraph, we will add value day one. And really, what does that mean? So as the owner of my company, I have to recognize, first off, my employees, because without them, frankly, I'm nothing. I'm still sitting in an empty room and nothing's going on. So first, provide value to your employees. And in times of great stress, which so many of us are, being open, honest, and clear is very important. And I believe that is providing value. Listening, helping, assisting people who may be in distress, and understanding that every day is, especially now, if you have a loved one who is ill, etc., or your spouse or boyfriend or whatever is out of work, it's very stressful. So I try to understand where people are in the present and speak to them with respect and understanding. For our customers, of course, I want to add value. And what does that mean? I am always available to my customers. I was always available before, and I will continue to be that way. I believe in the, what should I say? Being available to my customer who may have an issue, may have a problem, and may want to speak to me. I'm all about that. I will solve your problem. I will listen. I will hear you, and I will solve your problem one way or the other. Okay. And then, of course, in the community, in my past and in my current life, I worked in varying nonprofits, and I have a great sense of community. It's very important to me to be able to put back. And I always say, by lighting somebody else's candle, you are not diminishing your own flame. So that's me. Now we'll go on to our next slide, which is so crazy. This is crazy. Okay, here I am. Listen to your audience. Okay. So if you don't have a social media strategy, you need to go in and take a look at what you're doing. Have you thought about social media? Have you thought about where you want to present yourselves? Okay, that's also very important. So who was prepared for this pandemic? Who was being prepared for hunkering down for months at a time? Not, having to think about, God knows, stupid things like toilet paper. Hello, and we were all rushing around in Philadelphia. Oh my God, there's no toilet paper. I mean, hand sanitizer, all those things. And of course, it was very difficult in the beginning. And certainly now with the surge, it's even more difficult. So if you are not being inspirational, educational, and useful to your clients, you are missing the boat. It isn't always about you. It's about them. How can you make them feel more comfortable? What can you do to help them in their quest for additional business or solving problems, whatever? Okay. So it says, what I wrote here, share quotes and videos that will raise spirits and remind your audience that they are not alone. Now, I'm going to read something to you that has always been very important to me, and I hope it is to you as well. I think it's very meaningful, and it's called Anyway. So I'm going to read this to you, and this is like an inspirational moment here that you could also share with your clients, right? People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but follow only top dogs. Fight for underdogs anyway. You will spend years building, which may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you do help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you've got, and you may be kicked in the teeth, but give the world the best you've got anyway. So love them anyway. Do good anyway. Succeed anyway. Be honest and frank anyway. Think big anyway. Fight for underdogs anyway. Build anyway. Help people anyway. And please give the world the best you've got anyway. I love that piece. I think it's inspirational, and I hope you do too. It just resonates with me. So, educational, here we go. On to our next topic. In the hemp world, in the cannabis world, we are challenged because people don't even understand what's the difference between CBD and THC and the plant and how does that work. And, you know, it's mind-boggling. That's why we believe in educational output, because this is our industry needs people who understand and speak the same language as we do. So we also recommend, as I said, reading on a daily basis. I hope you're all reading industry publications like MJ Biz and Cannabis, the Cannabis Executive, pardon me. I think that's really important, and it gives you something to talk about with your clients when you're speaking with them, or even, you know, I share this information with the folks that I work with, because education doesn't stop at the door. It goes on and on and on. So this is, and then I have over here, what does your social media say about your brand? You know, have you thought about your brand? Do you think that your brand is something that people resonate with? Does your name describe who you are and what you do? If you, and you know, if it says, you know, the Blue Fly, a hemp farm underneath, then I would understand. But if it just says Blue Fly, it means nothing, right? It means nothing. So make sure that your brand tells you something, right? Make sure and think about it. Okay. Now, a few months ago, we did an article for, I forgot already which publication, or it was an email blast, maybe, I don't remember. But I say pivot or perish. And I really believe that. You know, you can't be stuck in what was. As again, you need to be up in the crow's nest. You need to be looking out at the future, because if you're stuck, you're not going anywhere. And that is the problem. Sometimes people feel, oh my God, I did all this and now it's, what do I do now? Well, you need to get together with your team. You need to rethink where you are. You need to get 4 or 5 or 6 options of which way you can go. And you need to turn in that way so that you can remain relevant, because you have to remain relevant, especially today. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I want to remind everyone that a Facebook page is not a website. A Facebook page is not a website. Now, a lot of people think that a Facebook page is a website, but I will tell you that it is not. It doesn't give you the opportunity to really interact with the brand. And so I'm going to tell you, please get a great website that brings people in and to either buy or want to talk to you or whatever it is that you do. And you must remember all of the digital medium has to be optimized for both for both desktop and mobile. Because if you haven't optimized for mobile, people are going to look at you, they're going to think, oh my goodness, they're not keeping up with the times. Okay, so take that. And because that's what people do. Unfortunately, everybody's, a judge, oh, I can't read it, it's not here, whatever. And they're going to think, you don't know what you're doing. Now, you don't want anybody ever to think that you don't know what you're doing, right? So you must continue to retarget visitors to your website with ads on social media. Okay, what does that mean? You must, if you do social media advertising, you must have a way to get them over to your website. Your website is your address. Your website is your home. Your website tells people who you are. So make sure that your website is current, is easy to navigate, your messaging is clear, and get people to your website. If you're not doing that, you're missing the boat, okay? And another way to attract customers is, I always say to people when they call and they want to start working with us, I say, well, what is your differentiator? What makes you different? Yes, I see a message now from Tom, and I will answer that in 1 minute. Tom, did you get that? Okay. Satisfy customers and consumers with something different. Okay. You must differentiate yourself from your competition. And what does that mean? So today I was on a call with a gentleman who's starting a warehouse, and his warehouse is his target market, a small business who don't have the opportunity to warehouse and distribute or pick, pack, ship like Amazon or whoever, big companies. And his premise is that he will be offering automation to small companies, warehousing and delivery, which is a differentiator. It's terrific. And so he will be doing picking with robots. And this, to a small business, puts them in the same level as one of the big boys or girls. Okay, now I have a question. Hemp and CBD products are a challenge to run ads on Facebook and Google. Okay, you don't have to have paid ads to be on Facebook. Now, we cannot say certain things. They shut you down. You're absolutely correct. We can't say marijuana. We can't, there's so many things. You can't say, okay, my CBD cures dandruff. No, you have to infer everything. But as I just finished saying, if you move people back to your website and post valuable content, people will be there, okay? So it's not only Facebook and Google, but Instagram, but you can have your own content, which is extremely valuable. and then people start to read you and follow you. And I think that is the answer to that. I hope that helps you, Tom, and everyone. Okay. So we differentiated ourselves. Where am I? Okay. Oh, we just talked about influencers. Okay. So influencers are public figures with large social media followers who often partner with brands to help promote their products. We talked about the pen, right? We talked about micro influencers, and we talked about not having to pay a boatload of money to be able to harness or bolt on to these influencers. Okay, there we go. Again, it's important. It's important to utilize influencers that align with your brand's values and reputations. Now, credible influencers increase the public's trust in your company and increase your brand's awareness. Now, of course, if you're looking for a chef, you know, you're not going to go get an influencer, as I say, who does automotive products. You know, you might want to align with, I'm in Philadelphia, so I'm going to say a big name here. It could be Mark Vetri, to, you know, who might be an influencer or his company. So those are very important things. Now, these are things that you and your team have to sit down and think about. This just doesn't happen bing, bang, boom, right? I have, you know, oh, wait, Tom, oh, Heather Kreider, Hempfield Botanicals. Okay, sorry, I'll jump over to Heather now. Tom, we agree, it's a nightmare to advertise hemp products. Only topicals if you're lucky. We've literally tried everything. Okay, so I think what we can do is we can back out of here and we can say, are you also trying, do you have an exciting website? Are you sending emails out to your, oh, here's another thing that I'd love you to do. Do you have a database of people that, or do you collect names and put them in a database? Now, I am going to tell people that it is very important to create a database. Are you on LinkedIn? I'm going to suggest something, okay? LinkedIn has groups, okay? I'm kind of hopscotching a little bit here. LinkedIn has groups. Now, I will suggest that you belong to 50 groups. Now you're going to say, this woman is crazy. No, I'm not crazy. Crazy like a fox. You need to be on a lot of groups that harmonize with your brand and people that you would like to reach, okay? Now, what you do is you go into these groups and then you connect with people. Now, the mere fact that someone will connect with you on LinkedIn is permission for you to market to them. So you take that name of Susie Q and you put it into your database, right? And there is the thing that you need to do. You have the database, you start marketing to your database, and that's obviously very important, okay? I would suggest humbly that is something you definitely should do, okay? So LinkedIn is important. I'm going to also suggest a couple of other things because I have the word align in the bar there. Now, I'm a lunatic because I am on LinkedIn. I am on something called Alignable. How many of you, of course, I can't ask you, how many of you are on Alignable? It's very important. Get on Alignable. Answer people. Now, I will tell you, it's a little crazy because somebody emails me and says, can we connect? This is on Alignable only. On Alignable, they say, can we connect? I agree to connect. I look at their profile. I look at their website. I look at everything, and I connect with them. And then there's a dialogue box, and it says, do you want to say something to the person? I say, hi, I'm Claudia, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to get on a phone call with you. Here's my email address. Here's my phone number, because sometimes people are weird about, I don't know. I'm not weird about it. I'm out to get business. So I do that. And then you know what? they just disappear. So I have now taken to saying, I send them another note. If you are on Alignable, one assumes that you want to do business. Otherwise, why are you connecting with me? So if you're here to do business, I'm here to do business with you. Let's connect. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of, it boggles my mind. What can I say? So I want you to think about Alignable. I want you to think about LinkedIn. And I want you to think about garnering names that you can add to your database, which will help you market to all those people. Send out an email blast, something that's interesting. We use MailChimp, okay? I'm sure you're maybe all familiar with that. I don't know. But we use MailChimp, and it seems to be very effective. But I also want to tell you, now is not the time to focus on views, likes, and comments, okay? That I've had people say, oh, I've had 7 million views. Okay, I don't care about the views. I don't care about any of that. What has it brought you in terms of dollars and cents? And if you look at that and you've gotten nothing from it, you need to change your strategy, people, because getting 1 million views or likes or whatever means nothing. We need conversions. That's what it is, right? We need conversion. So let's open up our minds to think about how we can refocus our energies where we can get conversions. Now, let me go back to LinkedIn for a second, which is I make everybody that works with me crazy about LinkedIn. You look at LinkedIn and you've got groups. Say you join 50 groups. I'm going to hope that you join between 30 and 50 groups. All right, 50 is, optimistic, whatever. So it's the marijuana, women in marijuana, women in cannabis, or it's CBD, hemp, and something. Join those groups that align with your company, and then you'll see they could have like thousands of members, right? Now you can market to that group. Hello, and you can be on LinkedIn. So Tom and Heather, take a different spin on the dial and think about what I'm telling you now. Okay, thank you. So where am I? Oh, okay, I'm over here. No matter how good your content looks, if it isn't converting, oh, there, I jumped myself. Okay. And then I said, yeah, I just spent a few minutes talking about that. Right. I want to say that you are in business to serve your customer. That is a customer-centric company. That is not, you have no idea, or maybe you do. Somebody who tells me, oh, I'm really busy and I can't get back to you, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to know how busy you are. I'm a customer. I pay your salary, okay? So as a customer, remember we have internal customers, they're the people that we work with, and we have external customers, right? So an external customer calls up and someone answers the phone with, who's not bright, who's not friendly, who's not smiley. You have a problem because look, today, certainly people can spend their dollars anywhere, and we have to be grateful that people are spending their dollars with us. I have a reverence for my customers. I have a reverence for my employees. Again, if you don't have customers and you have employees, what do you got? Nothing, okay? And also, data gathering is very, very, very important, okay? You should know where your customers come from. You should know certain demographics of your customer base. Well, that will help you target market to others in other places, demographics, okay? And remember, you have to follow the sales, meaning, somebody signs on with you, just don't leave them out there swimming around. You have to have that connectivity back into the company. Pick up the phone. Oh my goodness, that brings me to pick up the phone. Gee willikers. I don't know, people. I don't know. This generation does not pick up the phone. They will spend a half an hour trying to find something without going to the phone, which you can get an answer instantaneously. What is that about? Let's not be afraid to pick. I mean, it doesn't have rattlesnakes coming out of it. It's a phone, right? It gives you information. And when you speak with someone, you have an opportunity to build rapport. And if you build rapport, what happens? People want to work with you. It's just the circle, okay? So that's that. Now, analyze what you can bring to customers. Well, sort of, I've jumped over myself a million times, but these are things that, these are my pets that I love to talk about. And you have to figure out, my last point here is, figure out how your message can rise above the noise, right? What are you going to do differently? Oh, I'll give you a story too. So I owned a delivery service. Now, I wanted to do business with, and I know the account actually, it's R.R. Donnelly. Their headquarters are in New York. The gentleman who was the decision maker on which delivery service they use would come into the office at 6 o'clock in the morning, which would really be, you know, for me, whatever it is, it's an hour or so different. I would get up, I would call that customer. I didn't care where they were. You know, that's when he wanted to speak to people. I'm on the phone because I listened to my customer. And I had a great chat with him, and God rest his soul. He's gone now. But I sent him a size 15 sneaker. Okay. The sneaker was like this, you know, this Will Chamberlain and whoever, a huge sneaker. And what I did was I put beautiful cellophane in the neck of the sneaker. And in that cellophane, I put wonderful candies and treats, right? And then I had labels, hand tags that I circled the top of it with, made it beautiful. And I said, now that I've got my foot in the door, when can we do business? Well, did he call me right away? Absolutely. So look at ways to get attention. Really, you know, it's important. Now, here we have opportunities to get some PR. I don't know if any of you use PR. You know, I'm not plugging myself, but we do PR. And if you're doing, for instance, you manufacture clothing, you donate the clothing and you do a PR piece. Food delivery companies bring free food to hospitals. Make yourself and your business socially responsible. It's very important because, I mean, I can't begin to tell you, first of all, you feel great. You know, when you do something nice for somebody, you do feel great. Any questions while I'm going on from anyone? Heather, Tom, you were there. Okay. And here we are at my next slide, which I did talk about. Okay, you work with people, right? And they become part of your family in some instances, depending on obviously the size of your business. And how important are they to you? How do you exhibit that care to your employees? They need you, right? As I said before, without them, you are nothing. And that loyalty and that caring comes from you doing things. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be money, you know? People don't always respond to money. Yes, it's important, and I'm not saying whatever, and Christmas is coming, but telling people how you appreciate them, how you appreciate them working as hard as they do. And you must do that. You must tell them how you want to make their lives easier, right? And that no matter what, you will help them. Please come to me, you know? I used to help people. They needed to move, they were getting a divorce, their wife was sick, whatever. You know, I feel like those are deposits in the bank of goodwill with your employees, and they will not forget that, right? You have to be a supportive, compassionate leader. okay? And you need to encourage them to be able to speak with you. I mean, my goodness, look at, look how we're living now. It's just, ooh, it's crazy, right? So now we're on to the part where I think that people need to understand their employees, speak to them often, write them little notes, and tell them how much you appreciate them. So just to recap a few things we did here. Your business must sell to survive because sales are the lifeblood of your business. And if you have a problem picking up the phone, then you have a problem, because you need to pick up the phone. It's not only doing outbound, and then hoping that somebody somewhere, says, oh, yes, that's exciting. I say even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. For me, I want to go out and I want to meet and greet and talk to as many people as I possibly can, because that's the lifeblood of my business. And then we have the pivot or perish. Don't forget, you have to make sure that your website is mobile and desktop enabled. If you need to change the way you're going to market, do so with the help of your staff, and look for ways you can be of service to the folks you work with as well as the community. And again, use social media as a tool for you. And here I am at the end of my presentation. Any questions? Any questions? Or do we only have two? From Heather and from Tom. Okay, no questions. All right, everybody. I thank you very much, and I believe that the presentation will be available to you on the platform. Okay, thank you. Please stay safe, wash your hands, social distance, and wear your mask. Thank you.
It looks like we have a couple of people left in here. We just want to say thank you to Claudia and Sophia for handling our business track and talking about marketing today. We also want to say thank you to our. We'd also like to say thank you to our sponsors. That would be Lancaster Farming, King's Agri-Seeds, Pennsylvania Agricultural Business Development Center, and Air Products. Please don't forget there are session surveys in the survey tab. So please fill out the surveys for this session. Also, networking is a key feature of the summit. So please network virtually by using the chat, connecting with your business profile, and visiting the forum. This session is actually our last one for the day, but you can still access the site for up to 30 days and continue talking about the summit and also continue to connect with your business partners and attendees. We hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.